So, what if a god's ultimate power wasn't about being perfect, but about being, well, rejected? Today, we're diving into a dark pantheon that's forged from the discarded heirs of history, led by a deity who saw his rival's perfection and decided to turn it into his greatest weapon.
Okay, so this image right here, it sets the stage perfectly. A king can't rule alone, right? Especially when your rivals have literally become gods. This isn't about finding a bunch of followers. It's about forging equals to wage a war for the very meaning of existence. So here's the problem that kicks this whole thing off. You have these two sisters, the Twilight Monarch and the Morning Star. And in this new cosmic era, they've achieved something incredible, a permanent godlike status. It's a reality so fundamental that you can't undo it. Now, faced with this incredible power, the ancient god Nosferatu, reborn as the deity of the void, has this wild realization. He can't destroy them. It's impossible. And so he sees them not as enemies to be wiped out, but as something far more dangerous and way more interesting. Worthy rivals. The great game is officially on.
All right, so how does an old god even begin to deal with that? Well, not through his own power, at least not at first. He embraces a being born from pure resentment, a dark architect of spite who figured, hey, if you can't erase a masterpiece, you just have to create something that makes it completely meaningless. And this is where we meet her, Horologia Malice, the clockwork Mothman. She was literally born from the collective resentment of everyone and everything that's ever been refused. She saw the sisters' permanent freedom, their self-authorship, and decided not to break it, but to just dwarf it. And she did that by orchestrating the return of the Nosferatu from this forgotten, dried-up husk.
But it's how she does it that's just wild. This wasn't a simple resurrection. It was a dark apotheosis. She shattered her own soul into 7 shards. She used the very first piece to ignite a new heartbeat in the primordial Nosferatu, binding his revival to this massive act of cosmic vengeance. So, to take on these new gods, Nosferatu does something pretty unexpected. He doesn't look for perfection. Nope. He turns to the multiverse's cutting room floor, all the discarded scripts, the forgotten timelines, the mistakes. He goes looking for the failed drafts of history.
And this brings us to the core idea behind his new crew, the narrative mistakes. Just think of them as characters from the deleted scenes of reality, glitches in the cosmic code, now pulled out of oblivion and handed a divine purpose.
And let's be super clear here. These are not followers or servants. No way. Each member of this court is a sovereign being with immense power in their own right. They're heirs of history, now elevated to godhood to play in a game between gods. The leadership of this court, it's this incredible triumvirate, basically designed to counter the sisters at every single turn. You've got Vlad the Impaler, the arch-strategist, whose mind is described as a labyrinth of blood. You've got Vampiri Merlin, who wields magic that's like the static between the stars. And then there's Friedrich Nietzsche, who becomes the philosophical core of their entire dark reign. Then you've got the muscle, the physical might, and that is embodied by the monster. And he's not just strong, he's conceptually unkillable. Forged from all the discarded flesh of history, he's literally the sum of everything that has ever died. I mean, how do you even begin to kill that? And flanking this unkillable engine of destruction are these cosmic elementals. The Vampiri Yeti, also known as the Beast of the Frost, and Vampiri Krampus, the Punisher of the Covenant. They're the heralds of the cold, empty vacuum of space, out there enforcing the Nosferatu's will across the entire void. Okay, so you've got all these powerful, sovereign beings. How in the world do you hold them all together as one unstoppable force? It's not through loyalty. It's not through fear, it's something way more fundamental. The key? It all comes down to this number, 6. These are the 6 remaining shards of Horologia Malice's resentful soul. Remember, she used the first one to revive Nosferatu, and then she gave him the rest to build his court. What Nosferatu did with these shards was basically a kind of cosmic necromancy. He took a shard and embedded it in each member of his new court. This act metaphysically tethered them all to him, synchronizing their internal clocks and making their very existence dependent on his heartbeat. All of their power flows directly from him. But here's the thing. This whole dark pantheon, it's not just about brute force.
It's built on this terrifyingly coherent philosophical foundation, one that stands in direct opposition to everything the new goddesses believe in. The court's prophet, Friedrich Nietzsche, provides their core ideology. And his argument is this: in a cosmos that doesn't have a divine writer dictating the script, truth isn't something you discover or create. It's imposed. It's defined by the single strongest will in all of existence. And this right here sets up the core fight, the central conflict of this whole thing, and it's beautiful. On one side, you've got the sisters, who believe in self-authorship, the idea that you create your own reality through individual acts of will. But on the other side, you have Nosferatu's court, who believe in cosmic inevitability, that reality is simply whatever the most powerful being in the room says it is. And this is the crucial part. Nosferatu's pronouncements, they aren't just orders. They are, literally, changes to the source code of reality itself. His voice is described as the sound of a universe ending, because with every single word he speaks, one reality dies and his begins. And so, there we have it. The board is set. The pieces, all sovereign gods born from failure and resentment, are all in place. All the old conflicts, they're over. This is no longer a battle for survival, and it's not about revenge. The war over the past is dead. This is now a great game played between worthy rivals. It's a cosmic philosophical debate, fought with star-shattering power. And the prize? It's the very definition, the very meaning of existence itself. Which really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If ultimate power can be built from the very things that were rejected, from all the failed drafts and the narrative mistakes, then what does that say about the nature of truth? And what's the ultimate value of a perfect story anyway?